right, let's go ahead and kick it off. So we want to be respectful of everyone's time. My name is Lucio. I will be your host today. I want to welcome all of you to the January or February 2025 product roundup for Katalon. We have a lot of cool stuff to talk about today. We appreciate your time and your participation here. A couple of things before we get started. We are going to hold a Q&A session at the very end of the webinar. However, if you have any questions that you would like to ask, please don't wait until then to ask your questions. Go ahead and put them in the Q&A button that you have down below in the Zoom interface that you're using to dial in for this presentation. Also, you are more than welcome to put any questions or any comments that you would like to put on the chat window for this presentation. I will keep an eye on all the questions that come in. Also, if you put your question in the Q&A, if by any chance we don't get to answer them before the presentation is over, we will be able to follow up because your information will be right there. All right, with that said, also this is going to be recorded. It is going to be placed on katalon.com/webinars. So in the unlikely case that you need to leave, you can always come and watch this on demand, or you can share the link with all your friends and coworkers in your teams so they can also be aware of all the stuff that we presented today. All right, with that being said, today I am honored with the company of Philip Becker, our Senior Product Manager for Katalon Studio. Hey, Philip, how's it going?
Good. Doing really good.
Happy to have you here. And then also we have with us the one and only InTune. He is also a Senior Product Manager for TestCloud, who is bringing us a lot of good news today. InTune, how are you?
Yeah, good. Excited to be here, folks.
Excellent. Well, with that, let's go ahead and get started. So today we already walked through the housekeeping items. Quick agenda, we're going to talk about the latest studio updates. There's a StudioAssist chat, the Web Recorder Plus, enhancements on some of the reports, and also there is test execution video playback improvements. And Anshu is going to walk us through all the updates for TestCloud, namely live testing for mobile applications and also performance improvements on TestCloud. And last but not least, the Q&A. All right, with that said, I am going to go ahead and mute myself. I'm going to get out of the camera. And Philip, I believe the time is yours.
Cool. So we did add a StudioAssist chat window into Katalon Studio. So StudioAssist used to do explain code and generate code. If you found it and you could like right click and explain it, we've now added a chat interface, which is more intuitive to ask questions related to testing or Katalon. So it still helps you generate and explain code. The previous ways of doing it still exist too, but this will help have that conversational chat window that people are so familiar with these days. So if you want to go to the next slide, we'll do a quick demo of it. There should be no items here. Like there's no sound. So right here, it's going to show up if you download 10.1.0 by default. It'll have it open. If it's not open, you can click onto the icon, ask it certain questions. We have massage the prompts to help a lot with a lot of things. But you can see here how it's going to give you code and samples, and you can always answer if the answer was helpful or not helpful. That'd be very helpful for us for feedback. We don't see what you've asked, but that is still very useful to know if people are getting what they believe is the right responses. And this does work with the Katalon AI service as well as OpenAI and the Azure OpenAI interface. For those, you will need to use at least a GPT-4o mini model. Some other items that we're working on in the background. So this is going to be just like a work stream over the next couple of releases. This is right now, the UI was the big one, but we will be adding a lot more data into it to help with the context, the improved responses. So for example, sending the custom keywords that you've created so it knows to use them, sending the object repository. That's all on the very short-term roadmap. So we're going to be doing that soon, as well as integrating some more information with like support portal or docs and items like that. So that's all coming. If you do have questions or suggestions, please open up support tickets on it, feature requests, and we're going to be looking at those very very thoroughly over the next. I mean, the next release is going to have improvements over the next 3 months. So probably over the next year, we're going to be doing a lot of work on StudioAssist. Right?
Philip, well, before we move on, one question. So, do you want to? You mentioned they will need the key for OpenAPI if they want to use that, and also, do you want to clarify is this available for enterprise users or free users as well?
It's only available for enterprise users, and it will be included in it. So if you have an enterprise account, you can use the Katalon AI service. You don't need to do the Azure OpenAI or set up any of that configuration.
Okay.
It's included in your license.
Is there any toggle that they need to switch to turn this on or turn it back off?
As soon as you open it, this one's already been set up, but in this view right here, it would say you need to set it up, and you can click it and it'll pop up. So it'd be very intuitive.
Excellent. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, so another item, this actually came out in 10.0.1 to a very soft launch where I didn't talk about it at all, but we did have the Web Recorder Plus come out, which is our next iteration of the recorder. Eventually, we'll just call it the recorder and make the current recorder the legacy recorder. But it's designed to handle modern web apps a lot better. It can handle Flutter and Canvas with a few custom keywords and capture complex mouse movements. But the biggest thing, and the reason I pushed it out so fast, was because it has a much better packaged extension. So if you are in an environment that blocks unpacked extensions, you would have to use Katalon Compact utility in the past. Now you can use the Web Recorder Plus. If we go to the next screen, we'll show you the video here. There is another packed extension to enable it, and then you would just use Active Browser if you're doing the packed extension, which would require what we call the Katalon Studio Recording Engine. So it's a little bit more clear what it is. It's just the engine. If you do use this, then you won't need to set up the desired capabilities that you would have to do it in KCU and set up the different profiles and all of that.
We're losing Philip. Anshu, can you hear me? Okay. We're gonna give Philip a couple of seconds so his internet gets back. Worst case scenario, we'll switch to your section, Anshu, and then when Philip gets back, we can come and reiterate on this. Sounds good. All right. So, Anshu, let's go ahead and switch to your section, and then we'll have Philip come back and cover again for the section that he was presenting just now, if you don't mind.
All right. Yeah. What should we do?
Let's talk about the TestCloud mobile testing. Let me walk me through all the cool stuff that you were going to show us. I believe there's a couple of demos as well that you wanted to present in here, so the time is yours.
Right. Yeah, sure. Stealing some time from Philip then. Can you go to the next slide for me? All right, folks. So, Katalon it's been on the market for like 10 years, maybe, right? We've been a automation shop. We've been providing tools and services and platforms for automation testers to build scripts in the scenario that you want to replace something like Selenium and you want to improve the speed of automation testing. So all that, I'm sure you've been using Katalon Studio. So recently, I'm sure some of you have heard that, hey, Katalon may be kind of building up to some new products. And what I'm showing you today is actually one of those things. So TestCloud Mobile Live Testing is one of the first Katalon products that is going to serve manual testers. And this is going to be huge. So basically the goal here is that, hey, we've been allowing people to execute automation sessions for quite a while. We've been optimizing the performances. We've been giving people access to real devices across Android and iOS, but that has been contained to automation testers, and the thought is simply, okay, how can we help our customers when they also have a lot of manual testers? And as a matter of fact, you usually have a much bigger manual testing force compared to automation traditionally and commonly in modern organizations. So TestCloud, now you will be able to access a real mobile device. It can be Android, it can be iOS. You can go on a website, you can open up a mobile device, and you can perform your web browser testing or native app testing for the manual testing stuff, of course, on those devices. So really, I think the value here is pretty straightforward for a lot of you who have been doing testing for quite a while, right? You have instant access to environments without having to manage a complex setup. You can have a lot of deep interaction and complex configuration with the devices. And you can enjoy advanced features like GPS, camera injection, network conditioning, all that really easily on the go. And hopefully this is going to be something that's going to help you, just more easily and more proficiently evaluate how your apps and scripts work across different environments. So let me show you how that actually look like. So Lucio, can you stop the screen share so that I can take over?
Absolutely. Go for it.
All right. Hope you can see it.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So, I mean, hopefully a lot of you have been using, the mobile packages from TestCloud before. This is where you manage the applications, right? You write your test cases, you upload your iOS or Android applications onto TestOps. So this is where you see them, and you can use those applications for the manual testing stuff too. So this is the interface for TestCloud Live Testing. Let me open it up for you guys. So this is a beta product. You can see the beta tab here. So in terms of access, there's going to be a exclusive thing for the first couple of months when we are trying to kind of fine tune the customer demand and all of that. The CSM, your CSM and SE and account manager will reach out to you to kind of talk about the possibility of this. But in general, this is going to be something very intuitive. Immediately, you will see the different devices you have access to. It can be either Android or iOS. As you can see here, the popular devices are available. It's really easy to see across, basically most of the stuff you want to test on, right? So let's say, hey, I have a Android app I want to test. It can be on Google Play. You can go into Google Play and download it. It can be in the App Center. You can also download it there. But if you have uploaded it onto TestOps, then all you need to do is, just select the app, select any environment. So let me just try out, the latest one, S25 Ultra. Why not, right? And click on Start. And that's everything you need to do. So we designed this to be extremely straightforward. You don't need any kind of complex setup. If you have the license to access this, that's all you need to do to kind of set it up and get it running. And voila, within like 30 seconds, right? You are already inside the application and you can already interact with the applications. So everything is pretty intuitive. You just point and click and scroll all the normal things you would want to do. It's going to be relatively quite responsive compared to a lot of usual experience you have, for example, trying to record from Appium, right? I'm sure this is going to be something really easy to use. You have access to fully all the logs or the different information, such as, let's take a look here. So you can take screenshot, you can record the screen, you can have all kinds of control over the application. You can set the IP location, the GPS, network throttling settings, have some device control, even change some settings on the device. So all that is going to be available for you. It's really easy. It's really intuitive. So I do want to kind of quickly show you the idea here which is you having access on demand, instant access to a real mobile device for you to do whatever you want with. And yeah, that's about it. So I think that's enough for the demo.
Thank you so much for sharing, Anshu. And same question that I asked Philip: is this available for as a couple of questions? It sounds like it's beta. If you want to participate in the beta program, is there anything that our prospects or customers need to do? And also, is it available for KSE or KS only?
Right. So I mean, in beta, as long as you are a Katalon customer, we are willing to talk about, getting you access to the feature. So really the biggest criteria is whether it's going to be valuable for you, right? And if you feel like this is going to be something interesting, then reach out to your CSM, reach out to your AE. They are going to be able to tell you exactly how the access is going to be granted.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing. All right. With that, let's move on to a quick update from Philip. We have Philip back, but we're going to go through Anshu's TestCloud updates, and then we'll jump back into the studio updates. So Anshu, TestCloud performance level up. What can you tell us about this?
Right. Yeah. So this is going to be something pretty straightforward. Can you just go to the next slide? So, as a infrastructure product that's helping you execute test, we always optimize the performance and stability and consistency of the environment. So this is some kind of continuous work that we do every single month, right? But December and January have been really exciting for us because we've been able to put a lot of time and effort into revamping the whole architecture behind how the tests are orchestrated on the cloud. And there's a lot of technical details here. If you are if you are curious, feel free to ask. But the gist of it is magically you would have fast tests. So you can expect up to 75% performance improvement in executing tests, especially on mobile devices. You are going to see more consistent performance metrics. So before you may see a lot of variations in how long a test may take, but we've been able to smooth that out quite a bit. Everything is more and more scalable every day. So this is something you don't really need to kind of interact with explicitly, but it's still going to be able to help you nevertheless, as long as you are using TestCloud. So this is going to be, and same with, any kind of big new feature improvement in the product, we are also rolling this out as a opt-in. So if you go to the next slide, you will see that in the next version of Katalon Studio, you will be able to select whether you want to turn on this new enhancement to try it out. This is something we did a lot of big changes on the back end. We haven't been able to test it to a wider audience. So this is going to be kind of a small beta for us too.
Excellent. So very easy to opt in. And also, do we have any document? We have documentation on these on our technical docs, right?
Yeah. So this is something that will be rolled out in February. And once it is, there will be documentations.
Excellent. There you go. All right. I'm taking a look. I'm keeping an eye on the questions. It looks like everything is coming nice and clear. When we don't have many questions in there, but I see that there are some items in the conversation as well. I did post that link to the release, the product release blog that we posted between yesterday and today, so you can see more details of all the cool stuff that we're sharing here today. All right. So what else do we have? Okay, before we have Q&A, Philip, are you back with us? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. So let me go ahead and switch back to. I believe we stopped at the Web Recorder Plus. Is that where we lost you?
Yeah, but I think I covered everything on that.
Okay.
So that's available right now. And then if we go to the next one, I think we're doing the recorder. Yeah. Okay. So the other item would be the enhanced email report. So we are adding more information into that, including the test cases. We did other report enhancements too, but this would be the most visible. So if you want to check the release notes, there's a lot of small feature requests that we knocked out, as well as a lot of lingering bugs basically that have been around for too long. So we cleared all that up, and we're going to be working on the reports over the next few releases to get them updated and make them look very nice as well. But in terms of the functionality, like what you see here is what is now available in the email report. And as just a segue of what we're working on in the future would be making them like basically re-theming a lot of all the reports.
Perfect. And again, same question, playing devil's advocate, who is this available to?
It should be available to everybody.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. And then moving on, I believe we have the video report improvements.
Yep. So we've added a new report format, or not report format, video format, WebM. So now you won't have to have the codec to play it. You should be able to play it in any browser. Just makes it a little bit easier to set up a video recording without having to download VLC or anything like that. You still need to have FFmpeg though to create these. So that is mentioned in the documentation. That's what does the encoding. But as a default, WebM is now the default that we use.
Cool. All right. Thank you for sharing that. And then, perfect. Okay. So that was quick and easy. All right. So Anshu already walked us through the TestCloud mobile live testing, which was very exciting. And thank you so much for the demo. And at this time, 11:26 in the morning Eastern time, let's go ahead and turn into the Q&A. While you guys and everyone in the audience place your questions in either the Q&A or the chat window, I want to let you know that we have a webinar coming up on February 20th, a streaming QA with functional and performance testing integration. So this is going to be more of a thought leadership webinar that we have with Daniel Fourier from the Oak Ridge National Laboratory, as well as a load testing expert at Octoperf, Walmart Nedil, and myself. We're going to discuss a bunch of cool stuff about functional and performance testing in the enterprise. So if you want to attend that, go ahead and scan that QR code or go to katalon.com/webinars and you will find the registration page in there. All right. So questions. All right. Questions are coming in. So before everybody goes leaves, Philip, do you want to take a question, look at the Q&A and see what we can tackle before we go?
Sure.
Are you able to access it on your mobile?
Yeah. Can you hear me though?
Yeah, loud and clear.
So for the first one, I see hello Katalon allows me to have some tests on a database. Yes, I'm assuming this is asking if we can connect to a database for like data, and yes, you can. Those would be the the data sources, data files that you can have in Katalon Studio. So that should answer that question. For the third-party apps, so Dan, let's see here. Are you trying to log in to something that is managed by Google Play, InTune, or I don't know if we can unmute Dan who want to understand more.
We can try. Let me see if I can find Dan here in the Dan Brown.
Yep.
Or actually, yeah. Dan, I'm going to open the mic for you. If you're comfortable with that, please feel free to explain the question live. We'll be happy to hear from you.
Yeah, sure. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yep, loud and clear.
Great stuff. Thanks. Yeah. So my question was, so usually we sort of circulate the third-party apps via Google Play, and it's a managed version of Google Play. So you wouldn't be able to see these apps on the public Google Play, but we kind of have an InTune service which allows us as testers to kind of download this software. So I'm just wondering how we might sort of replicate that on a third-party sort of cloud service like yours.
Oh, okay. For TestCloud,
it suddenly seems complicated. So currently we're kind of restricted to physical devices only.
Yeah. So for Katalon Studio, you can still use those physical devices. For TestCloud, I'll let Andrew answer that if we have something available right now.
Yeah, I mean, particularly for InTune, I cannot recall any past clients that used a similar service. So this is going to be a first for us. But the principle is that in any case, we would need to be able to pull the application into our devices. So there need to be some kind of networking back and forth between our cloud and whatever you use, right? And as long as that is available, we can build APIs to automatically pull that in onto our side.
Yeah. Okay. I guess it's further information needed from me. I need to get some information as to whether we're just using a standard sort of, say, Microsoft Power Apps, for example, and we're using that as a hybrid app. So it's then using the Power Platform to pull standard sort of, I guess, HTML code and configuration information from. I mean, that's what our developers are creating, but we're doing all that on the Microsoft platform. Yeah, it would just be a nice step up if we could then replicate that on a number of devices and sort of form factors like tablets and what have you.
Yeah.
Are you go on?
No, I'm just saying that I think we would absolutely be open to having some POC on this. So, I don't know who your customer success manager or account manager is, but I'm sure they will be able to connect us further.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan. All right. Back to you, Philip.
Yep. So for grilling, is there a customization email where we can distinguish receivers for pass and failed tests? Like if a test fails, the more people receive the email. In Studio, no. In TestOps, there is some more stuff you can do with it, but I can take that as a feature request. That should be pretty simple to set up. When we do the email report improvements, I'd assume this would be an easy one, but I've been wrong before. So I'll take a note of this and check it out and see if we can knock it out real quick in the next release or two.
Should you have?
So I'll go to the next one then.
It looks like Andrew picked one from the list that he would like to answer live from Gorlin.
Oh no, that's the one that Philip just did.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right, my apologies. Go ahead. Back to you, Phil.
So I'll click the answer live button now. So will it generate code with respect to requested functionality, or will it generate code specific to my application that I'm testing? So it generates code based on our prompt. So it should be generating Katalon code, not just like random code. But that is something that we are working to address over the next few releases to improve that, make it where more of that code can just be a copy paste and it'll work. Sometimes it is hallucinating, which is a problem with pretty much all LLMs. So I think that's answered. Sorry. Oh, so James, me, that. So it sounds like you have 2 accounts when logging in. I suspect that one is a trial. One of them was a trial account when we were first getting started, perhaps, because a lot of times it creates one for you, and then the other account is the work one that's actually a paid offering. So you should be able to delete that organization. The one that is the trial, the my account one, is usually the trial account. If you need help, then I'll just create a support ticket and I should be able to help you pretty easily. Okay. Oh, well, that's weird that it only showed up last month for you, James. But we it should be easy to have support. Get rid of the extra account. For the anonymous. Okay, so I'm gonna skip to this one. Oh, 1 second. So is it a technical way to customize the StudioAssist so it has context to the Audrey repository or other test cases? That is what we're going to be working on in the next release, is getting that context sent automatically, where it has the Audrey repository and keywords. Yeah, so that's what we're working on, improving that context so you don't have to send that information. And then Rob, you had a question about code explanation. What was your question about it?
It looks like the original question is on the actual chat, but Rob, if you're available, and comfortable with it, we can open the mic for you. I'm gonna go ahead and open it, and 1 second. All right, Rob, you're allowed to talk now.
Yeah, I'm. You're hearing me all that down in whatever. Yeah, I use code explanation a lot, and the format of the answer is sometimes different. The one I like is that you also take in account the parameters when you say I select a function, and sometimes in the answer, in the explanation, he takes the parameters in the explanation, and other times you don't show any parameters in the explanation. So is there a way I can tweak that more or less to maybe to get always the same answer? So I hope I'm a little bit clear.
Answers, I think I understand it. So the answers are non-deterministic. So there's always going to be a little variance, but it sounds like we aren't careful enough with the prompt. So if you could send me an example of you know what you did, and it gives you different responses, and it doesn't take into account, let me know, and I'll forward it to my tech lead to address it.
I have a library. I just select the function, and from the keyword up to the end of the function, and then I get the explanation, what's most of the time very good. And sometimes he also put lines for each parameter in the answer, and sometimes he doesn't do that. So that's what I mean. The format of the answer, let's say it in that way, seems to be different. So it is not that I can say I do 2 times the same function and I get a different answer. But sometimes I do a lot of functions. So sometimes I get the parameters. Other times I have to add the parameters by myself. So so I was wondering if if that is something I didn't do or I should do to get the parameters inside the explanation.
I think it's our fault. But I like to take blame because then I have the power to fix it.
No, that is not blame, but we are developing, and also Katalon is developing, and I must say, I use the explanation a lot. Every function I put straight away an explanation above it. So.
Okay, that's good. It's good to hear. So yeah, I have your email. So I'll let the devs know and take a look into it. But if we have follow-up questions or if when we hop onto the next call that we have, we'll take a look at this too.
Yeah, it's just IE. You cannot say you cannot precisely create the answers you like to see. But it's a good function, that's for sure.
Great to hear. Thank you so much, Rob. All right. Anything else in the chat and or the Q&A that either Anshu or Philip would like to answer or address?
I see Mina asking about Azure DevOps integration in the future for test ops. I know this is not a test ops call, but I can tease you that yes, we are working on Azure DevOps integration, and it's going to provide quite similar functionalities as what you see with Jira nowadays. So yeah, look, keep an eye out for that in the upcoming months. Actually, Crystal also asked if mobile live testing is only available with TestCloud license. So during the beta, really is flexible. Just reach out to us if you feel like you will be able to make use of it. After it's out of beta, I think there's going to be a little bit of a stricter regulation around how the licenses are distributed. But during the beta, it's going to be pretty open.
Where can they reach out? Is it directly to their success managers, or is there an email address that we can share here?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, it should be through your customer success manager. I don't know if there's anyone here who's not having that kind of contact. But yeah, we really want to maintain the proper kind of chain of communication that way.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right. There is still time. If anyone has any other questions or would like to share anything. Going once. All right. I think we are good to go then. Again, the QR codes for the release notes are on the screen, also for Studio and also TestCloud. And also please remember the webinar that I shared before. If you would like to participate on this one or attend, go ahead and hit that QR button for the registration. You will find it in the webinars. Any final notes, Philip and Andrew? It sounds like every time that I said I'm going to shut this down, all the questions start coming in. So I'm going to start doing that moving forward. Okay, people, we're leaving, waiting for the questions, but completely up to you if there is anything that you would like to address before we go. All good? All right. Thank you, everyone, for your time, for your participation. Andrew, thank you so much for your help. Philip, thank you as well for all the cool stuff that you showed us today. We are Katalon, you are the audience, and please have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.